Now here is an asthma formula. It's called number 1051, asthma formula. And that number 1051 asthma formula, it's for acute asthma attacks and for bronchitis and croup and emphysema. And it helps to relieve sinus and lung congestion. And that number 1051 asthma formula, it soothes the inflamed tissues and allows free breathing. So we got to find your dose, whether it's 6 drops, 3, 4, 5 times a day, or is it 30 drops, 3, 4, 5 times a day? Everybody is different. You are as unique as your fingerprints. Now, the other thing is some people have a hay fever type symptoms, so you can't ignore that. So there's a hay fever herbal tincture extract called number 1231, 1231. And it helps dry up nasal congestion and eye irritation. So if you have those kinds of symptoms, well, that's when we use that hay fever formula. There's also more help, a lot of help. There's the sinus and lung congestion formula that really helps clear the lungs and the sinuses and congested matter. You use it for allergies and bronchitis and congestion and lung problems, pleurisy, pneumonia, quinsy, respiratory problems, sinusitis, and hoarseness. That number 1390, a sinus and lung congestion formula. And it just gets better. You've got so much help here in that asthma, bronchitis, respiratory report that's on herbalhealthreview.com under common conditions and under asthma. Their whole report is there. And anytime you're looking at where it says number 1390 sinus and lung congestion formula, you click on it. It takes you where you can see the product and look at it and order it if you want it, or call the folks at Better Health Herbs on the telephone. And they will help you as well. They'll guide you through this. And their phone number, you should have that. Write this down, because the phone number for all these products that we're talking about is 541-791-8400. That's 541-791-8400. And they have a website, and it's called betterhealthherbs.com. And whenever you click on any of these products in the report, it takes you over to betterhealthherbs.com, where you can look at the whole website and all the products they make. But we talked about acidophilus powder, or acidophilus. I like the powder. Some people like the capsules. It's okay. So the normal healthy colon contains friendly bacteria, 85% lactobacillus, and about 15% coli from bacteria. It is the friendly bacterial flora found in yogurt. But yogurt can be not a good thing, because the dairy will clog you up. So I don't use a yogurt. And I'm very cautious about dairy products in general. So, but this acidophilus.
But there's not that much in the yogurt.
What's that?
It's not that much lactobacillus in the yogurt.
Right. You're mainly just clogging up the respiratory system and the digestive tract. So I don't use yogurt. But that's what everybody touts it as, oh, you should get some yogurt. No, you shouldn't. Not in my opinion. You should get some acidophilus powder, capsules, or powder. And because this is essential to the digestive system. When these bacteria are not in balance, then the person may experience bloating, flatulence, constipation, malabsorption of nutrients, all of which may lead to what they call Candida albicans. Acidophilus, that's the yeast infection throughout the body.
Right.
Then acidophilus, taken as a dietary supplement, may help to detoxify and to rebuild a balanced intestinal flora. It's used to defend against that overgrowth of bacteria called Candida. Acidophilus aids the digestion, and it helps to replace the friendly intestinal bacteria. And then here's another thing I use, Doc. I use colostrum. Colostrum is what comes into mother's breast before the breast milk comes in for baby, and the colostrum immunizes the baby and makes the baby nice and healthy and immunized. You don't need a vaccination. And then
That's right.
And then the colostrum, it's a powder. You take 2 to 4 capsules a day, and it's very concentrated immune system builder. It is a mammary secretion produced just prior to birth, and it is released into mother's milk right after birth. It contains protective antibodies and many nutrients for the newborn babies. Colostrum helps to protect from infection, for the digestive system and the stomach to mature. The signals to and it signals the brain centers that function with digestion. So that's one of the things I use too.
Okay, one thing.
Go ahead.
One thing I can interject: if you have goats like I do, their first milk, the babies have to have that first milk because it's the same as human babies. They have to have that first milk, which is a colostrum. And so does a baby calf or a sheep or a dog or a cat. The first milk is where all the nutrients are to keep that baby very, very healthy and fight off any illnesses when it's first born. So that's very powerful. One thing on the Candida, Caprin, C-A-P-R-I-N, is very, very helpful for Candida. You know, I use that, and I use the ADP, which is the oregano, emulsified oregano by Biotics Research. Between those two, it knocks Candida out of the ballpark.
Bingo. So there's also another thing I use when we've got COPD and asthma and respiratory problems, and it's called MSM, methyl sulfonylmethane. And I use a big tablespoon 3 times a day. It keeps your skin young. It's the building block of every cell in your body. So instead of your cells shrinking up and shriveling up and dying with old age, they stay young. They stay permeable. And they let the toxins out, and they let the nutrients in, and it's just a powder. And you get a pound of it. And I'm taking a tablespoon of it 3 times a day to keep every cell in my body young. That's one of the things I do every day. And then there's...
Yeah, that's one of...
Go ahead.
That's what that is the body's... MSM is the body's natural sulfur, which helps keep the lubrication in the joints. So in my joint support, I have a lot of MSM in there, which lubricates the joint and helps dissipate the pain. I mean, that's just one ingredient that's in there. And but MSM is very, very powerful. It's the body's natural sulfur for the lubrication of the joints, plus everything you just described. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, I love it when you interrupt me. You always add to it, and you're wonderful. So MSM powder, that's another thing that's going to help us get away from COPD. That MSM and a pineapple blender drink is a good idea, where you're using super green foods. You know, the chlorella, spirulina, barley grass, wheatgrass, alfalfa powder, and all these wonderful green foods. We used to call it super veggie powder. Now they call it something else, but it's still number 4845. It's all of the green foods. That's another thing that's going to nourish the body and strengthen the body and leave COPD and asthma and so forth back there in the dust where it belongs. There's another thing I use, and it's called bentonite clay, montmorillonite clay. It's a detoxifier. It binds up with toxins. And a teaspoon, you use it, you get a pound of it, and you use it till it's gone. And you take a teaspoon 4 times a day. And internally, the negatively charged particles of the clay attract the positively charged toxins and carry them out of the body. The clay also supplies essential trace minerals. And by the way, it is the quintessential remedy for MRSA. Say goodbye to MRSA when you know about montmorillonite clay. That's a flesh-eating disease that they don't have a cure for, but montmorillonite clay is the remedy. It will get rid of MRSA. Then let's not leave out, we talked about nutrition. There's not a greater nutritional product than the Intramax for adults. There is it's a liquid and it tastes good. It's an all-in-one liquid dietary organic supplement, Intramax. This great tasting natural formula contains over 415 essential ingredients derived from whole food sources, such as fruits and vegetables and herbs. And so now we are really increasing the nutrition. It's a liquid. You take a half of an ounce in the morning, you take a half of an ounce in the evening, and you've got organic 415 organic ingredients. And now we're really nourishing the body. But we got to really increase the immune system. And Doc Miles knows that when you're using that vitamin D3 drops for about 50 drops for 15 days, you really boost the immune system. But you don't want to go beyond 15 days because it starts making it a little difficult for the liver to deal with it. So everyday liquid sunshine, vitamin D3 drops, 50 drops, one time daily, and on the 16th day, you stop taking 50 drops, which is 50,000 IUs. You stop taking it after, on the 16th day, you drop down to 10 drops so that we don't hurt the liver and that we've really boosted the immune system. And in a separate study, researchers from Belgium revealed data showing that vitamin D deficiency is common among patients with COPD. And supplementing with vitamin D3 drops called Liquid Sunshine, number 2227, that's 2227, those drops, it may significantly help patients with any kind of a breath-robbing disease. The study shows that high doses of vitamin D supplementation on top of standard rehabilitation program that we just talked about improve the outcome in terms of exercise capacity, respiratory muscle strength, and a gentleman by the name of Mike Hornickx, who is a physiotherapist and a doctor and a student in the Department of Pneumonology at the Katholieke University in Leuven, Belgium, said in a press statement, low levels of vitamin D in the blood have been related with muscle weakness, a major target for respiratory rehabilitation, and increased risk of falls. People are falling. And she also added, since vitamin D is often depleted in patients with COPD, she said she wanted to see if the vitamin D supplementation would have a beneficial effect on rehabilitation among these patients, perhaps by increasing muscle strength. The research team studied 50 COPD patients with a history of exasperations who had been referred to for rehabilitation and randomly assigned to them to receive either a monthly dose of vitamin D or a placebo. Patients receiving the vitamin D were given 100,000 IUs international units, 100,000 which is twice the dose that we're talking about. And in a monthly dose, they went for a whole month, and which is far above the recommended daily allowance of which is 600 IUs daily of vitamin D. They underdose you. They're not giving you enough to make a difference. Now, all the research subjects participated in a pulmonary rehabilitation program for 3 months, both at the beginning of the rehabilitation and when it concluded. The scientists measured peripheral and respiratory muscle strength, exercise capacity, and vitamin D levels. The results? The patients treated with vitamin D had significant improvement in exercise capacity and respiratory muscle strength compared to those in the placebo group. The results support the idea that correcting vitamin D deficiency by adding vitamin D supplements to training programs allows COPD patients to achieve better results from rehabilitation, including improvements in muscle strength and exercise capacity. And that's what she said. So with that Intramax, you're getting a good dose of B complex, because that's important when there's any kind of a respiratory disorder, is B complex. But if you're using the Intramax, and if you have a child, you can use the Intra Kid. That's the kid version. Now, you can't go to the health food store and buy this. The reason why is it's a doctor's only product. You can only get Intramax from a doctor. That's right. You can only get it from betterhealthherbs.com by calling them, either going on their website, Herbal Health Review, betterhealthherbs.com. If you go on their website, you can find Intramax. Again, if you were looking for that number of Intramax, it's number 2302. And remember, there's a kids formula as well. And you can order it online from betterhealthherbs.com. Or you can call them on the phone at 541-791-8400. And then you can get a hold of the best multiple vitamin that is loaded with organic B complex. And vitamin A is another one that's very important. Taking 25,000 USP units of vitamin A 2 times a day for 1 month, then once daily, and once daily after that. That'll help things. Grape seed extract, 2 capsules, 2 times a day. Garlic, eat lots and lots of garlic. Or if you don't want to smell like a pizza, then you get some odorless garlic capsules, number 2261. And you take odorless garlic capsules, a couple of those, 3 times a day. They've also found that shark cartilage capsules help with respiratory disorders, taking 750 milligrams AM and PM. There's also digestive enzymes to help you break everything down. And you want to take 2 or 3 with every cooked meal. You don't need to take it when you're eating fruit, because there's plenty of enzymes in the live fruit. But if you're eating cooked food, let's break it down and digest it and get everything from it with some digestive enzymes. And there's flaxseed oil capsules, high lignin, 1,000 milligrams, 1 or 2, AM and PM. There's all this help. And maybe you need to really create more stamina, more endurance. Then you might reach for bee pollen tincture. And if you've never taken bee pollen before and you think you might have an allergy to it, you take 1 drop in a glass of water the first day, and you sip on it. And if it gives you no reaction, then you start increasing it daily. If you think you're sensitive and you might have a reaction, you start increasing it 1 drop every day until you're able to take 60 drops 2 to 3 times a day. That bee pollen will really boost up your immune system, give you a lot of stamina and endurance. Oh, but let's not leave out cayenne. Cayenne. Yes, cayenne will alkalize your body. Cayenne root is a stimulant which will give you a lot of energy. So let's either take one capsule or take the powder and get some cayenne in the diet. But cayenne, garlic bulb, and also alfalfa leaf, cut and sifted, and kelp seaweed, Atlantic, Norwegian. These are all things that will give you the vitamins, the minerals, the tools. And that wild oregano oil, essential oil, 3 drops in a glass of water. Well, pneumonia is an infection of one or both lungs, which is usually caused by bacteria, viruses, or fungi. Pneumonia. And colloidal silver water will get rid of pneumonia, but when you're taking it half your body weight for 3 days, pneumonia leaves. It's gone. Pneumonia can't stand up against colloidal silver water, but it also can't stand up against wild oregano essential oil. And prior to the discovery of antibiotics, 1/3 of all people who developed pneumonia subsequently died from the infection. Currently, over 3 million people develop pneumonia each year. Over 500,000 of these people are admitted to hospital for treatment. Although most of these people recover, approximately 5% will die from pneumonia. Pneumonia is also known to be the sixth leading cause of death worldwide. The most common cause of bacterial pneumonia, Streptococcus pneumoniae, in this form of pneumonia, there is usually an abrupt onset of the illness with shaking, chills, fever, and production of rust-colored sputum. The infection spreads into the blood, and in 20 to 30% of the cases, known as sepsis. And if this occurs, 20 to 30% of these patients die if it goes into sepsis. So we've given you a lot of tools, antibiotics, and antibiotics often used in the treatment of this type of pneumonia include penicillin, amoxicillin, and sulfonic acid, which is called augmentin, and macrolide antibiotics, including erythromycin and azithromycin and clarithromycin. And penicillin was formerly the antibiotic of choice by treating this infection. With the advent and widespread of broader spectrum antibiotics, significant drug resistance has developed. Penicillin may still be effective in treatment of pneumococcal pneumonia, but it should only be used after cultures of the bacteria confirm their sensitivity to this antibiotic. It's been used for centuries in Far Eastern and Middle Eastern cultures to treat respiratory infections, chronic inflammation, urinary tract infections, dysentery, and jaundice. And laboratory studies in which the oil was applied, we're talking about the oil was applied directly to food-borne pathogens, showed that oregano oil has strong antibacterial properties. And Dedeligu et al. 2004 cited that medicinal oregano has a high mineral content that enhances its therapeutic benefits, including calcium and magnesium and zinc and potassium and copper and boron and manganese. This oil, we're talking about oregano oil, is considered safe for humans and may be used in conjunction with antibiotics to fight bacterial infection. Bruce H.G. et al. 2005 cited that study. And it is also known as an excellent early defense mechanism when you feel cold or sore throat coming on. So that's pretty much it. I could go into each herb individually, but that report is there. And if you'd like to see each of these herbs described individually, be sure and go on herbalhealthreview.com, click on common conditions, and click on the asthma and bronchitis report. Well, Doc, we've come to the top of the hour. Did you have anything else to share with us?
Well, one thing, we have a ton of superbugs out there that these drug antibiotics are not working, because every time they turn around with a sniffle or this, they would give, antibiotics out. Well, a lot of these superbugs are immune to these, and the only thing that works is the oregano. I mean, I've seen this many, many times lately, because everybody's got these superbugs that, amoxicillin and penicillin and all that just won't touch. So that's why we're on to something with the oregano. The oregano is really, really powerful stuff. I use it every day.
There you go. Well, Doc, we've come to the top of the hour. So, and I don't see Pastor Brother Elijah here today. So I'm going to give a closing prayer, and we're going to conclude unless you have anything else to share.
Oh, God bless you, and take care of yourself, and I'm always here to support you.
Thank you so much. That's Doc Miles, area code 512.
I'm here.
Area code 512-868-9867. You can call Doc Miles at 512-868-9867. And be sure, Pastor Elijah is there. There you are.
Yes.
Hello, my dear friend, Pastor Elijah. Could you please give us one of your wonderful closing prayers?
Yes, and I want to thank you for this powerful message you gave this evening. But yes, I'm ready to pray. At least we connected tonight. Father, we come to you and we thank you. You are the Most High. And your word speaks in Deuteronomy 30:19 and Psalms 141 and 3. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. Set a watch, O Most High, before my mouth, and keep the door of my lips. Ahaya, Most High, and Sovereign Father, we thank you and praise you. Thank you for Dr. Burst and the Ministry of Discovery and Health. Bless him, Father, for being a faithful and obedient servant, even though he's 4,000 miles plus from home. We thank you, Father, that we also speak blessing on Dr. Miles for his wonderful ministry and the work he and Dr. Burst are doing together. So I decree and declare life tonight into the lives of all the listeners. Today and every day, you have a choice to make. You can speak life to yourself and to others, or you can speak death. I decree that your tongue is a powerful weapon, and with it you build others up and do not tear them down. I decree that you speak with compassion. I decree that you are warriors to use your words to counteract the enemy's verbal attack. I decree that your lips are anointed to speak life, and that you will bring hope to the hopeless and life-changing truth to those lost in lies. Starting today, I decree that you speak life. Satan, you are bound from operating against this ministry and the people live whom we are listening tonight. You are defeated. You are a defeated foe and have no power or authority. You were defeated over 2,000 years ago, and I loose the name of Yeshua HaMashiach Christ. And by his blood, you shall submit to that name which is above every other name. I prophesy, Ahia, perfect will is actually not healing. His perfect will is that you don't get sick. Even if you don't have a disease today, it is still important for you to learn Ahia's principles concerning health. So I prophesy and speak to the disease and the muscles and the bones, the genetic inherited diseases. You are cursed at the root. Fear, anxiety, stress, you are defeated. Problems with weight gain, excessive overeating are cast out. The flu, common colds, sinus problems, you are healed. All cancer, all autism, post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar disorder, I prophesy, be loose from your infirmities. I decree that you decree with me right now that my thoughts and the things that I meditate on will not cause long-term biological manifestation in the form of disease in my body. My thoughts are agreeable with the thoughts of Yeshua. I will speak only what is good and healing to my body. Healthy self-esteem starts with knowing who I am in Christ. I am learning to see myself as a higher sees me. He sees me healed. My heart is happy, and that is good medicine. My mind is cheerful, and it's working healing. So I close tonight that in this night we pray, Father, that in your language, your message were sent forth with persuasive, enticing, plausible words of wisdom. But they were in the demonstration of the Holy Spirit and the power of proof by the Spirit and power of a higher, operating in me, stirring in the mind of my hearers and most holy emotions, and thus persuading them so that your faith might not rest on the wisdom of men, human philosophy, but in the power of a higher. So I pray that every word you speak from this night forward, every thought you have would be of the Holy Spirit, filled with life and love. May the words of life you speak change the world around you. I pray that you will depend on the Lord to control your tongue. I pray that you will speak words that brings healing and hope to all that hear. May your lips speak with truth and be blessed by the King. I pray you will bring refreshing words every time you open your mouth, and I speak in Yeshua's name, Alaman. Halaman. Praise the Most High.
All praises to the Most High, Ahaya, Ashara, Ahaya. And thank you, and Shalom, everybody. See you next Thursday.